Yeah. I know that things are tough, but we will make it out. Dominica, we all gonna make it one day. The pressures of the system make us lose around. Oh yeah, we all gonna make it one day. Yeah, listen now. There's something that I wanna say to you. You get me so angry. Yeah, man, this is Emma Moses, and you're watching Sat News, the People's Choice. Yeah, make it bless, make it bless, make it bless. Love.
Welcome to SAD TV's news. I am Shana Esprit, your presenter. In our top stories, outbreak of dengue reported. Former Guyana speaker responds to fraud allegations. U.S. warns citizens to leave Yemen amid terror alert. And in sports, Sidemen X-Men one step closer to regain the Lime National Basketball Championship. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. Students of the Dominica State College achieved excellent results at the June 2013 City and Guilds International Examinations. All 40 candidates who took the administered June 2013 City and Guilds International Examinations passed, setting a record for the college. This is the first time that all registered students passed. What was also noteworthy was a significant number of high-grade passes, 7 distinctions, 18 merits, and 10 credits. The top performers in the IVQ Diploma in Electrical Installation were Delon Valerie, Danielle Alexis, Joseph Francis, Ethan LaRocque, Dave Laura, Eustace Senrose, and Joel Bedminster. The top performers in the IVQ Technician Certificate in Motor Vehicle were Henderson Bruni, Conrad Marvin Phillip, and Louise Johnson. This year, 21 of the students who took the exam in electrical installation were working adult learners who were given a special 2-semester accelerated program by the DSC's Department of Continuing Education in preparation for the exam. The Department of Continuing Education applauds the achievement of the adult learners who gained 4 distinctions, 11 merits, and 6 passes. Dean of Education Merrill Matthew noted that the performance of the working adult learners is mainly encouraging, for it opens up a new door at DSC for uncertified trade persons to receive international qualifications. Dean of Faculty Applied Arts and Technology Raul Leslie says these results endorse the quality of education and training that DXC lecturers provide and strengthens DSC's resolve to be the leading tertiary education institution in Dominica. In more news, the first ever anticipated Egliston Heritage Festival on Saturday, August 3rd, kicked off with a tremendous amount of excitement and a large crowd with unique presentations under the theme Celebrating, Uniting, and Achieving. Individuals had the opportunity to see animals including twin parrots, donkeys and crabs, as well as Creole wares, handmade arts and crafts, and wild creatures including snakes amongst others. Coordinator of the Egliston Heritage Festival, Miss Shirley Alexander, was extremely thrilled at the turnout and is certain that the committee's hard work over the last month paid off.
The idea or concept of transforming Egliston into a heritage village goes back a long way, but more importantly, was born out of the need to bring about greater economic and social development to the community, the preservation of our natural resources and traditional lifestyles. And I must mention Mrs. Robinson now, because Mrs. Tate and I and Mrs. Robinson were the ones spearheading the heritage idea in Egliston, and we really had the villagers working with us on that, with the cooperation and assistance of Girodale. Miss Alfred, when I mentioned to Miss Alfred we're going to have a heritage festival, and I talked to her about it, she said, but Shirley, where's the heritage project you had written? I honestly had even forgotten about it.
The festival, which formed a part of their Emancipation Celebration 2013, highlighted the village's potential and many attributes. The villagers hope that this celebration will develop internationally.
The facility will provide a venue for housing and showcasing our traditional lifestyles and art form. Kainu is being promulgated as a training and resource center. A traditional sports day, fashion show, a celebration of Creole food, a Sunday morning prayer and worship session, a history night with Dr. Lennox Honeychurch with bakes and bush tea, a summer day camp program captioned Sports Not Drugs, and want to start again with the youth division this week.
In regards to the flower show held in Girodale earlier this year, Chief Cultural Officer Mr. Raymond Lawrence said this may be the only community celebrating two major events in 1 year, and this is certainly a huge achievement for the twin communities.
Because we realize the importance of promoting talent and skill, we know that events like this help to bring the community together. It builds community spirit. In fact, to me, that's the most important part of an activity like this. It's like you have the unity in the village, you know, but when you organize an event like this, you really begin to see that people are coming out, cooperating and uniting with one purpose, one mission, one goal.
Honorable Ambrose George, parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, reminded the public that although Egliston was the village to spearhead the project and the process, individuals from Girodale also contributed.
The process involved several meetings. I was able to attend a few of the meetings, and at those meetings, what amazed me most was the number of persons who turned out at the meetings and the high level of enthusiasm that existed during those meetings, and the contributions of the villagers towards the planning for the Heritage Festival. It was a village at work, both in mind and body. And I want to really congratulate everyone who participated and ensured that we're here today to have a formal opening.
Acknowledgement goes out to those who contributed to the festival. In other news, over the weekend, two individuals were rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital following what eyewitnesses say was a very weird accident. The incident occurred on the premises of Breezy's Mart supermarket just after 12 p.m. on Saturday, August 3rd, where an out-of-control vehicle knocked down two persons. Reports are that an individual was performing some mechanical work on his Nissan pickup, registration number 9644, in front of the cafeteria. He then started the vehicle and it drove over a concrete barrier, plunging into a crowd of unsuspecting individuals. One lady was hit by the van, while a man who tried laying down to avoid being run over was trapped under. Many other individuals who thought quickly when they noticed the van coming escaped with minor scrapes and bruises. The van was idling very high during that time, so when it started, I just ran away, said one eyewitness, who was amazed at how fast the incident unfolded. According to the eyewitness, he helped lift the vehicle to remove the man who was trapped under before he was transported to the hospital. The extent of injuries to the two individuals are unknown. The incident also caused damage to benches outside the cafeteria and the building. More stories. The Ministry of Health has reported an outbreak of dengue in Dominica and is urging Dominicans to be cautious at this time. Dengue is an infectious disease caused by a virus transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and if an individual is bitten, the disease will spread. There have been no reported deaths from dengue fever, but presently there are 7 confirmed cases and 18 suspected cases awaiting confirmation. The start of the rainy season throughout the Caribbean region has seen an increase in the dengue transmission in other Caribbean islands. The symptoms include high fever, intense headaches, severe joint and muscle pain, vomiting, and a rash. Persons infected with the severe form of the disease known as dengue hemorrhagic fever, there can be bleeding under the skin from the nose, gums, gut, and damage to the liver. The bleeding can be massive, causing dengue shock syndrome, which can cause death. Persons with signs or symptoms of dengue fever should seek immediate attention at the nearest health center or contact their personal doctor. The Ministry of Health is advising the public to take precautionary measures to prevent the breeding of the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which carries the vector, as it prefers to breed in clean, stagnant water, easily found in and around our homes. You can get rid of the Aedes mosquito by frequently checking and removing stagnant water on your premises, by keeping your environment clean, covering all containers capable of holding water, drums, cisterns, barrels, and tanks, keeping potted plants in wet soil and sand, and by getting rid of all old tires. The public is also advised to protect themselves from mosquito bites by using a mosquito repellent and mosquito nets when sleeping. In other stories, Justice Brian Cottle was transferred to Antigua after spending a 4-year term as a High Court judge in Dominica. Justice Errol Thomas has replaced Justice Cottle, who will leave Dominica very soon, and will take up his position as resident judge to Dominica effective September 1st, 2013. This information was disclosed by Registrar at the Registry Division, Mr. Ozzy Walsh.
The Honorable Justice Brian Cottle has been reassigned to the jurisdiction of Antigua, and he will take up the post of resident judge in Antigua as of September the 1st. So he is due to leave the jurisdiction of Dominica anytime during the month of August. And Justice Errol Thomas, who is currently resident judge in St. Kitts, will replace the Honorable Justice Brian Cottle in Dominica as of the same date, September 1st, 2013. Justice Errol Thomas is the judge who, if you recall, his name emerged some time ago. Both the Honorable Prime Minister and Pepe Serjeant, the matter went to Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal ruled in their favor with respect to the election petition.
Mr. Walsh noted Justice Thomas was the first judge to rule on the matter after it went to trial. Justice Cottle's 4-year term in Dominica wasn't without dispute, as some of his decisions have been criticized by members of the public, including the opposition, the United Workers' Party. Questions also arose about Justice Cottle's social life, as it referred to his expected impartiality as a judge. A special court sitting is expected to be held in Justice Brian Cottle's honor, where members of the Dominica's Bar Association will wish him farewell. More news. After 11 months of hard work and commitment, the construction of the Kanawha has finally been completed and is ready for its journey. In celebration of this achievement, an official blessing ceremony was held on August 2nd, where the 38-feet-long Kanawha was officially named Kubulika, originating from the words Waiti Kubuli and Korikara. Winner of the Golden Drum Awards for Preservation of the Indigenous Culture, Prosper Paris, said this event was a historical one.
In the Kalinago territory, that marked the launching and the blessing of one of the masterpiece work that have done by the hands of our Kalinago people. And today, we want to recognize of the hard work by every individual from every household, especially from the capital hamlet, the cultural hamlet of the Kalinago territory, Sensi. And we want to pay tribute also to our ancestors who pass on the knowledge and tradition to our people.
Mr. Prosper has marked this day as a joyful moment for the people of the Kalinago territory. Nikki Maroye, head of marketing at Discover Dominica Authority, said this event is significant to her because it was one of the first events that she attended subsequent to her new position with the DDE.
From there, I realized what an absolutely phenomenal and amazing experience that was being undertaken. The relationships that were being cultivated between Guadeloupe and Dominica is imaginable. At the Discover Dominica Authority and the Ministry of Tourism, we're on a journey to attain 90,000 visitors by the year 2015, which is a 7% growth rate every year for the next 3 years. And the relationships that are built between the Kalinago territory, specifically with the assistance of Patrick and Regina, along with the rest of the Kalinago people, between Guadeloupe with the Kanawha Association, with the help of Monsieur Barfleur, and the rest of the Kanawha Association, these relationships are what is going to assist us in attaining these goals.
She also urged the Kalinago people, particularly the youth, to get involved in their history and culture and continue to learn and build from it.
I am in awe of this. I can't even call it a boat. It looks like a ship. It is so massive. I'm in awe that they fell a 50, 60-foot tree and they pulled it by hand and they dug it by hand and they crafted it by hand. That doesn't happen in very many parts of the world anymore, and we need to acknowledge how amazing and how special this is.
The Kalinago chief, Garnet Joseph, taking into consideration their French counterparts, addressed the function in patois, stating this accomplishment has a lot of significance for both Guadeloupe and Dominica.
Sa collaboration, ça fait. Ça, et puis à l'aide, nous tenons des peuples, des différents pays qui viennent ensemble, mettez les mains ensemble, mettez force ensemble pour faire un projet spécial. Et puis après plusieurs temps, nous avons qui projet ça l'a accompli. Et après c'est ça qui a fait après-midi, car c'est une cérémonie qui a préparé pour lancer Kanawha ça là. Ça c'est puisque Kanawha pas fait pour être à cette terre, il était pour fait à la mer.
Mr. Joseph said in the time of his ancestors, the Kanawha was used to travel throughout the Caribbean region. Other stories, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is pleased that St. Lucia has welcomed the Bolivarian Alliance for the Americas, ALBA. Mr. Skerrit said that ALBA creates opportunities for members of the grouping.
The news of St. Lucia joining ALBA is a very heartwarming news because clearly the ALBA is not what some people have tried to make it to be. ALBA really has been mode of integration that is geared towards assisting with the eradication of poverty and the economic and financial inequalities which exist between among nations. Through the ALBA, tremendous amounts of funds have been made available to members of ALBA. And of course with the creation of the ALBA Bank, where monies are lent to member states at about 2 and 3% interest, with a very generous grace period.
The speed at which the procurement process is completed is also a very instructive point, as many of the international financial institutions take a longer period before results can actually be seen, once signing the loan agreement.
That 2, 3, 4, 5 years can pass by before you actually see the resources. And now you have four countries in the OECS who are members of ALBA, and you have 4 countries within CARICOM plus Haiti as an observer within the ALBA
framework.
Dominica became the first OECS CARICOM nation to join ALBA in 2008. And in entertainment, after winning the title of Miss JC's in Antigua on August 2nd, Miss Dominica Leslasa Shillingford Armour went on to capture her second regional title over the weekend as Miss Caribbean Culture 2013 in St. Kitts and Nevis on Sunday, August 4th.
She came out in a dance and a message for domestic violence. She really danced beautifully, although there was a little hiccup with her music to begin with. Actually, they played Dominican Republic music to start with. So, but she came out of that, no problem, really performed. But I think that Miss St. Croix, who performed with aerial acrobatics.
Carlo Amo, chaperone of Miss Dominica, says Miss St. Croix with her talent of acrobats is what may have edged the reigning Miss Caribbean Culture 2013 out of the Best Talent Award. Despite Miss Shillingford Armour only winning Best in Interview, her consistency in each round was what won her the crowned title of Miss Caribbean Culture 2013. When asked what is the greatest challenge affecting women in the region today, she replied, self-worth. According to the four-time title holder, we all need to know our self-worth so that we can make the right choices. Miss Dominica 2013 Leslasa Shillingford Armour has now won 3 regional titles: Miss Carival held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the JC's Queen Show in Antigua, and Miss Caribbean Culture in Nevis over the weekend. And in court news, 20-year-old Brandon Ravalier of Jimit was given a stern warning when he faced Roseau Magistrate Candia George on Tuesday, August 6th. Following an incident on Monday, July 8th, Ravalier was charged with wounding and grievous bodily harm, which he pled guilty to. According to the facts of the case, at about 3 a.m. on that day, a 17-year-old man who was with his sister and a friend of his sister was coming from an event on the Portersville Savannah when he was confronted by the defendant and insulted him. When the young man asked Ravalier what his problem was, the defendant pulled out a cutlass, causing the young man to flee. The young man had to be transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital for medical attention after Ravalier pursued him and struck him on the left side of his head with a cutlass. A report was made, and when the defendant was met by the investigating officer, he said he did not hit the virtual complainant with a cutlass. However, when the virtual complainant told his story in front of Ravalier, the defendant then said he hit him with a bottle in his head and did not have any cutlass. He was then cautioned and arrested. In mitigation, Ravalier's attorney, Darius Jones, told the court that his client found himself in a situation that he is sorry for and hopes he learns from this incident. Magistrate Candia George stated this cut is a very serious injury and Ravalier should thank God it was not worse. She urged him to control his anger in different ways and to stay out of trouble. As it was his first offense and he pled guilty to not waste the court's time, he was fined $5,000 for the charge of wounding to be paid by December 31st, 2013, or in default sentenced to 1 year imprisonment. There was no separate penalty for grievous bodily harm. Magistrate George stated he was lucky as he could have been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for wounding, as it is the penalty stated by the laws of Dominica. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.